Hey, my name is Paint. I'm a non-binary transgender person living in Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm looking forward to vlogging for Flurt. I thought I would start by introducing myself and explaining a little bit about my history on the internet because I'm a little bit internet famous. Not super internet famous, but a little internet famous. You may recognize me from one of several memes that were made of my face a few years ago. My Tinder profile went viral. Some guy submitted it to a page with 400,000 likes. Page has since been taken down for doxing and, being generally shitty. But it was called "I Fucking Love the Patriarchy," and yeah, it was not a good place. But anyways, my Tinder profile was posted there, and that went viral. And then people made a meme of my face that was 20 minutes into Oppression and Chill, and Z gives you this look, and then they're just laughing because I have a mustache and I look like a social justice warrior. So I am the face of modern day feminism, apparently. I didn't ask to be put on this artificial pedestal of people either idolizing me or tearing me down, holding me to some impossible standard of being the perfect feminist, the worst feminist, an example of why feminism is terrible. All of these things around feminism, I became a symbol of, and I got a lot of messages and hatred from people. I got a few death threats, just like casual, like I want to bash your skull into this computer, and um, and I had people talking about where I work online. They talk about where they've seen me. I used to work at Starbucks, and so people would be like, "Oh yeah, I saw them at this Starbucks," and like different threads online and things like that, which was like really creepy and scary. And it went so far as somebody in my city actually printed out copies of my Tinder profile and left it on people's cars outside Westmount Mall, and that was really weird. I found out about that because a friend of mine who was like a friend of an ex-boyfriend found the Tinder profile in his car and messaged me and thought I was coming on to him because he found this Tinder profile in his car. And I was like, dude, I have no idea how that got there. But the only way it could have got there is if somebody was distributing them to a whole bunch of other people's cars, and it just happened to land on someone that I actually knew and actually recognized me. So that was absolutely wild and terrifying, and I reported it all to the police, but they couldn't really do much. Most of these judgments that people were making on me were very surface level. They were basically just based off of my appearance. They're like, oh, here's a person who's a feminist because they love their facial hair and they keep their facial hair. And it was this whole thing that was like, it wasn't actually based off of anything I was doing or saying. It was all based off of my appearance because apparently I look like a feminist because I allow myself to have facial hair. That's not to say I'm not a feminist. I definitely identify as a feminist and believe in feminism, believe in third wave feminism. I think that fourth wave feminism is like a 4chan joke that I come kind of troll a little bit and play around with, and like it's a concept that I think is interesting and kind of funny, but we're really third wave feminists is what we are. We're intersectional feminists. We're trying to consider things from multiple angles and keep in context like class and race and all these other things that affect oppression and affect our experiences in society. And so I consider myself that kind of feminist, like I can't really be the judge of whether or not I do that effectively. That would be up to other people who would say that I am upholding this standard. But mostly I am just a person who is trying to live my life normally and happens to have facial hair. I used to really struggle with having facial hair. When I was 18 years old, my first boyfriend asked me to shave it all off or pluck it all off, get rid of it for him because it weirded him out, and I did that. And then I did it ever since then because I've had facial hair ever since I was a teenager. It's just a natural part of who I am. It's really not that strange or unique. It's not that thick. I actually darken it with mascara because I really like the look of it now, and I'm really comfortable with it now, and I like to play it up, and I like it to be like a part of me. But before, I used to be really ashamed of it, and I used to be embarrassed, and I would pluck it all off. And I actually struggled with trichomania, which is like obsessive skin picking and plucking. And so I would pluck at my acne, I would pluck at my skin, I would obsessively remove hair, and it got to a point where I actually contracted a disease called molluscum contagium, which is a technically it's like an STI. It's spread through skin to skin contact, and it's spread through shaving and microabrasions on your skin. So from hair removal and picking my skin, I was spreading this disease, these tiny little water warts they're called, all over my body, and I had to stop all hair removal in order to be like healthy and to like make this go away and get over it. And I, I healed from that, and I stopped removing all my hair. And around the same time was the time that I was questioning my gender, and I was coming out as genderqueer, and I was like, well, this is a fun way for me to express my gender then, right? Like hair doesn't necessarily have to be masculine or feminine. Like for me, I think of it as kind of a little bit masculine, but I know other people who are women who have hair on their body and on their face, and they still identify as women, and they're still very strong women, and their hair is feminine because that's what it is. Or if, if there's a trans woman who has a lot of facial hair, and she identifies that hair as being feminine, that hair is feminine. Hair doesn't have a distinct gendered meaning to it. It is whatever the person who has it feels like it represents to them, and we have to honor that and like respect that. So that's me, a little bit about me. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope to blog more in the future and share more about either my experiences, share more about feminism, share more about what's going on in the world. I really am looking forward to doing this with you and sharing my journey with you and talking about my experiences with you. Thank you so much.